How does it feel when you're right? Generally feels pretty good, right? How does it feel when you're wrong? Not quite so good. And this week, a mistake I made where I thought I was right and I was actually wrong that caused some uncomfortableness between me and the leader and manager of another organization, and what I could have done to have easily avoided it. Hi, I'm Campbell Such. This is Mind Bite Thursday, your weekly dose of the human edge in technology. We all like to be right, don't like to be wrong, and often we may end up thinking we're right, but we're actually wrong. Not long ago, I had a meeting planned to discuss some things with a leader of another and manager of another organization. I'd originally organized it for Thursday, and he'd come back and we'd change it to the Friday. But for some reason, I'd missed the change. It hadn't ended up in my calendar and showed up in my calendar as Thursday. When he contacted me via WhatsApp to say, when's our meeting, I said Thursday. And he came back and said, here's the email, I think it's Friday, is that right? He did what I should have done, which was to go back and say, rather than it's Thursday, to go back and say, my recollection was Thursday, or I think it's Thursday, or it's Thursday, isn't it? And he could have then come back and gone, well, I thought it was Friday, and then we could have worked out that actually, that he was right, I was wrong, and that we could have then settled on the Friday meeting. So what's the key out of all of that? The key is to let the other person be right and to also be prepared to be wrong. So you take a less black and white approach to it, even when you're absolutely certain you're right, because you can sometimes be wrong. And I certainly have been plenty of times. Go in and just with a softer approach. So when he asked me when it was Thursday, when the meeting was, I could have said, I think it's Thursday, and he could have come back and then we could have just gone through that whole process and realized that it was Friday. So soften your language, be a little bit humble, be prepared to think that even though you know you're right, that you might be wrong, and make the other person feel right and not wrong. It'll make a big difference to those times that could otherwise be uncomfortable. That's Campbell Such, Mind Bite Thursday for this week. Something to think about and apply going forward. See you next week. Over and out. Bye.